Now to a story that will have you checking twice. The next time you fill up your tank, our investigative team found if you pay for gas with a credit card, you may be paying more than you expect. And we're not talking just a few cents.
In fact, some gas stations, they're charging $1 more. WPTV investigative reporter Dave Bowman looking into the price difference, asking whether this is even legal. Dave?
Shannon, Michael, a consumer attorney I spoke with, says this is legal. And it really underscores why customers need to pay attention before they start pumping. We've all seen some stations charging a few cents more per gallon for credit card users to cover the service fees. Well, now some stations are charging a lot more than a dime a gallon.
Why is it getting so much? And then I looked down and it was on $4.15.
Robert Zecker took this picture last month. The posted price on the sign outside the Chevron in Jupiter showed gas for $3.15 a gallon. He parked his pickup at the pump, swiped his debit card. And as he was pumping, he saw posted right above the pump, regular gas was $4.15 for paying by credit. When did you learn you were paying $4.15 instead of $3.15?
After I finished pumping my 8 gallons of gas and was shocked that I paid $35 for 8 gallons of gas.
Last week, I went back to the Chevron in Jupiter and found a digital sign above the pump showing it will still cost customers an extra $1 a gallon if they pay by credit card instead of cash. I asked consumer attorney Thomas Patty if it's even legal.
They say, listen, we're providing you a discount for cash-based services, and we're going to charge you our standard price for a credit card. That's seemingly a lawful way to go about it.
Patty says stations must disclose price differences between cash and credit card. I stopped by 15 service stations between Jupiter and West Palm Beach. 5 charged the same for cash and credit. A couple showed a modest price differential on their large outdoor signs, 7 of them charging between 8 and 10 cents more per gallon for credit, a common practice to cover service fees. And when I was checking last week, I found these 3 service stations charging customers that $1 a gallon extra for credit for regular blend. In all cases, the stations posted that price difference above the pump. After I questioned managers, I followed up, finding the differential at the Shell and at the BP across the street on Okeechobee Boulevard was cut to 90 cents a gallon. The Chevron in Jupiter cut it to 92 cents.
Well, as a consumer, I certainly don't like it.
Patrick DeHaan tracks retail gas prices and sales trends nationwide through his website, GasBuddy.com. A recent Gas Buddy survey showed only 4% of drivers actually pay cash at the pump. DeHaan says the practice of charging $1 more for those who pay by credit card could grow if customers don't push back.
People like using their credit cards. Sometimes when gasoline prices are very expensive, people don't want to go around carrying $60, $80, $100 in cash and having to go to the ATM every time to pay for their fill-up.
I went to all 3 stations that charge nearly $1 more for credit cards. They told me to speak to the owners. The owners have not called me back. You might be wondering about debit cards. That appears to be a gray area. At this BP, people using debit cards pay the same as cash, but at the Chevron, the manager said debit costs the same as credit cards.
I definitely felt like I was getting taken advantage of. I'm glad I was paying attention because I probably would have filled it up.
Now, we've reached out to both the local owners and the corporate offices of BP, Shell, and Chevron to find out what they have to say about the higher price per gallon for those who buy regular gas at these stations. Here's the bottom line. You can usually find the price differential on the signs at the pump, not the larger signs that you'll see driving on the road. Those usually only show the lower cash price. Back to you.
Well, if you travel via Brightline, if you're a commuter from Brightline, if you go from Palm Beach County to Fort Lauderdale or Miami, there's some bad news for you. Brightline is eliminating a popular commuter package and their ticket prices are going up. WPTV's investigative reporter Dave Bowman tells us what's behind Brightline's steep ticket price hike.
It's a commuter equivalent of sticker shock. For some, the daily trip to and from Miami and Fort Lauderdale from the West Palm Beach Brightline station is about to triple.
disappointed, hoping they change their mind.
Kathy Nonamaker rides Brightline weekdays to her executive job at the Museum of Discovery and Science in Fort Lauderdale. Right now, she and other commuters buy 40 one-way tickets for $399 to all destinations between West Palm Beach and Miami. Beginning June 1st, Brightline will be selling packages where 40 tickets will cost $1,400. That's a 251% increase. Commuters are stunned.
The key word is budget. The budget is blown.
I can't afford this commute anymore.
On its webpage, Brightline writes, it has become increasingly difficult to accommodate all guests as peak trains are reaching capacity. As a result, the sale of train passes will be discontinued, effective June 1st. I wanted to ask Brightline why it's not adding trains or adding cars to its trains. It did not return my calls or emails. Local leaders offered tax breaks and helped Brightline get state and federal grants to get the project started. I called 4 elected officials. The only response came from Palm Beach County Mayor Maria Sachs. She was a state lawmaker who helped Brightline get state grants a decade ago. By phone, she said the price hike feels like a bait and switch, adding she will attempt to find grant money to help commuters defray the costs of fare hikes. Brightline's single ticket prices, including fares to Orlando, are not affected. Kathy Nonamaker bought a condo with her husband in downtown West Palm Beach 3 years ago to be near the Brightline station. She says she just can't afford the new commuter fares.
I am a little confused that they don't want to support the commuters that have been riding all this time and keeping them in business.
Commuters are hoping their elected officials will convince Brightline to at least lower the fare increases, but that may not be easy. Brightline's a private company and can set its own rates. In West Palm Beach, Dave Bowman, WPTV News Channel 5.
Hundreds of passengers flying to and from Palm Beach International Airport. They've had their travel plans pretty shaken by the grounding of the Boeing 737 MAX 9 planes. The FAA grounded the fleet of United Airlines MAX 9s earlier this month after that Alaskan Airlines plane lost that door plug panel in mid-flight. Investigative reporter Dave Bowman is at PBIA today on how the grounding forced cancellations in one of its busiest routes.
Let's do some math. The MAX 9s that have been grounded carry 111 passengers. In the last 2 weeks, United Airlines has been forced to ground an average of 17 flights a week from Newark to here. If that continues into tourist season, that means in a week, 1,900 passengers will have to scramble to either find another flight or not come here at all.
It's really a pain. It's a big pain.
Mendel Delman and his wife are at the United. They're trying to get home after their morning flight to Newark was canceled.
They pushed it off from yesterday to today.
And are you going to make it home okay?
Hope so. I have a flight in 1 hour and 5 minutes.
I put together a list of cancellations on United's 7 daily trips to and 7 from Newark. In the past 2 weeks, 67 flights scheduled on MAX 9s were grounded. That's 34% of the flights between PBI and Newark. Is United in a position to get other planes to put them on these routes that have been canceled 4 to 5 every day?
It's highly unlikely at the moment. I have heard of the official strategies or plans to replace the current grounded 737 MAXs with other types of fleets yet.
Dr. Jungo Saw is a management professor specializing in airline analysis at George Washington University. He says the MAX 9 grounding hits places like the Palm Beaches and Treasure Coast especially hard.
The small and medium-sized business owners, especially in the local community, popular tourist destination across the country.
United about the grounding's impact on Palm Beach International Airport. It responded in an email. We're not providing market-by-market figures, but can confirm that United has approximately 200 flights per day nationwide scheduled on MAX 9s. In its email to me, United Airlines said it plans on grounding MAX 9s until January 26. But there's no indication that the FAA investigation into those planes will be complete. And there's no indication that United will find other planes to cover the PBI Newark route as the tourist season hits full stride. At Palm Beach International Airport, Dave Bowman, WPTV News Channel 5.